Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Transformation Tuesday, February 7th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. It is What a Man Week, and our second special guest is an actor and artist, and I'm super excited to have him here in the dollhouse with us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Anthony L. Rios. So let me go ahead and send him this live so that we can dive right into this interview. I'm super excited to have him here, ladies and gentlemen. And I said for this season, I wanted a bunch of fresh new faces. So we are going to be celebrating some amazing, amazing black men this week. And we hope you guys enjoy the lineup. So we're waiting on Anthony to come in so that I can add him in, ladies and gentlemen, and we can get this interview started. Are you guys excited for an amazing interview and show today? I know I am. I'm super excited. So while we're waiting on Anthony to come in, I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's show as well too with Diesel. That is up. So make sure you guys head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime. Today I'm giving a little bit of Beyonce realness. Beyonce has been doing her thing lately with the gloves, so today's inspiration is for her. So we're waiting on Anthony to come in so that we can get this interview. Let me let him know. Waiting on him to come in, and then we can get this interview started, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we got a great show for you guys today. Of course, we're going to get into our Black History Month first today. We're going to be talking about it, and we're going to get into our final thought as well too. So make sure you guys are staying tuned. We have some great things lined up in today's show. So we're waiting on Anthony to get in. I'm going to send him this live again, because I don't know, where is everybody? I don't see any viewers, or I don't even think people know that I'm live, to tell you the truth. Let me see. We're going to do it one more time. All right, Fashion Dolls, and without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, Anthony L. Rios. Let me add him in, ladies and gentlemen. Let me back up some. All right, perfect. IG has been tripping lately, so please forgive us, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, Anthony will be joining me in, so just give it a minute. Let me try one more time. Hmm. Make sure your camera's on, Anthony. There we go. Make sure your camera's on, and then we can get this interview started, you guys. There we
Hey,
go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the dollhouse.
how you
How are
doing?
you doing? Wonderful. It is such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I had a, I don't think I ever did this live like this, so I had to like change settings and all type of stuff. So
No, you're good. Welcome, welcome. We're great. We're glad to have you here. So it is What a Man Week, and my lineup this week is all amazing black men in celebration of Black History Month. Because last week, back in January, when we kicked off our season 17 premiere, it's been nothing but girl talk. So I figured I would give the men their time to shine on the platform as well too. So before we kick off this interview, how has 2023 been for you thus far? Because I know we've been through so many trials and tribulations throughout the year with so much that has been going on from 2021 to 2022. How has 2023 been for you thus far?
thus far, actually, it's going pretty good. You know, it was the beginning was a little bit of that overflow from 2022, but so far it's a lot of good things happening. So I'm excited. I feel like it's gonna be a good year, not just for me, but like for everybody. Like a new year of like elevation and and enlightenment. So it's been going
Yes.
pretty good. How about you?
Wonderful. It's been an amazing year. And I said this yesterday with one of my guests that I interviewed, Diesel. I was saying that 2023, I literally planned out the year ahead of what I wanted the year to go on, what I wanted to do going into the year. So I like to create vision boards. And it's like putting the pieces of the puzzle of your life together.
Right.
So I would have to say the year 2023 for me has been amazing. Almost everything that I've put out there in the universe has now come into fruition. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I've been that's something that I've been meaning to do, and I've been dragged. Like that's one thing I'm working on. My like procrastinating. Procrastination is like a killer, man. So I finally started my vision board where you write out. Um, I seen that video where Steve Harvey was saying you got to write out 100 things that you want in your life,
Mm.
even if you get stuck. Push yourself to think of what else you want, And as time passes, because words have power. So it's like as time passes, you're gonna see that you're gonna start scratching those off your list, And little by little, you have this and that and this and that, So putting it in writing and visioning it. So I started mine finally. So I'm working on, not procrastinating anymore, trying to make time for what I love. I just recorded I just wrote a verse last night, a little verse that I will be dropping soon. That just trying to get back to my craft more because I am a single dad, so that takes a lot of time. But it's you got to make time for what you love, at the end of the day. So even if I lose sleep, that's where I'm at with it.
And we'll get to that because Valentine's Day is coming. We'll do our games and stuff around the mid part end of the show.
Oh,
So tell us, Anthony, how you got started in the business. Where did this passion, because you're not only an artist and producer, you're an actor as well too. So tell us, at what age did you discover, okay, this is my passion. This is something that I want to do. This is something that I'm very serious about doing.
well, so all my life, really, I've always loved music. Like me and my sisters would sit down and write the lyrics to a song,
Yeah.
uh, and learn. That's how, and I think that helped me with always like memorizing lines, but we would always write down the lyrics to learn the songs. And back in the day we had the cassette tapes, so you throw the cassette tape in and record songs, and
Yeah.
we like learn them like that. And so at 13 is when I actually wrote my first like official song.
Wow.
Obviously it was a girl song. Obviously, you'd be young, and so that was my first time I ever wrote a song. And I just loved it. I used to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I used to watch MTV Cribs. Like, man, I could live like this because come to
Already.
find out, stuff wasn't even
Yeah.
in their house. So, but that's what first like drove me. Like, man, you can make a living doing this. Into like it grew into more of like a passion. Like, man, you can really change the world with this. There's certain things you do in life, but things like that where you can actually record yourself on wax, or if you're doing a video, you could reach the whole globe, with words and media. So at 17 is when I started kind of learning. I was self-taught, mixing engineer, producing. I was blessed. One of my aunts was trying to invest in something, and I had another guy that was an engineer through the church, and she ended up investing in a studio, and that's where I really learned a lot from. Shout out to Anthony Reformation, man. He's one of the main ones that taught me all the basics, how to record, how to mix, how to make beats. And from there I kept on with it. And little by little I got all my little equipment, and built up my setup and everything, and just worked on music. And I did it all. I did my little videos, and I did shows, and I've done little radio station stuff. Um, and then I kind of merged what I loved with what I wanted to do. So like I record a lot of artists as well. So if you guys do music, holla at me. I do mixing, mastering, producing, whatever you do, voiceover, for commercials, any of that, you know, anything that has to do with recording sound, location audio. If you need sound, audio for film, I have that as well. So from there, it kind of it came in a dream. I feel like it was like God trying to tell me something. Like I had a dream ever since I was little. I remember having these dreams of a camera in front of me, and the one before I really started acting was I had got something in the mail. Sorry for blabbering, but I'm trying to give it to you. This is the short version. So I had got a letter in the mail, and in the dream it said, a casting director was seeking me out or whatever. And I said, man, I'm gonna take this into consideration. Let's see what happens. And I started doing the background acting stuff, you know, as we all do. And man, just, you know, ear hustling, listening to people bring up certain companies and certain, you know, I'm real like when it comes to that, I'll open my ears a lot. You know, they say if you talk less, you'll know more. So I learned a lot of different companies and where to go and whatnot. And then I ended up getting featured on Empire as Shine's engineer, which is Exhibit. He's really cool, like really cool cat to work with. And I was blessed to like meet, you know, Empire was always star-studded. So I was able to meet like Taraji, Nicole Ari Parker, you know, Mario. It was a blessing. It was surreal, like to look and, you know, I'm looking at Terrence in the face and I'm like, somebody that you grew up watching their movies, you know? So it was surreal. I was blessed for that. And then, you know, a lot of little things between, but the main one recently was last year I had my first speaking role on Chicago PD. Um, the episode is called New Guard. If you guys want to look it up. So that was awesome. That cast is always like real down to earth, and I love working with them. I've done all the Chicago shows background a lot, so it's a blessing. So it's a good transition, I feel like, for artists, because we're already entertaining in the sense. So the transition into that, you know, that world is the same. I think that's why it makes it easier for us. So I'm just excited to see what comes from this now. It sparked a new flame, you know. It's like it felt like when I first started making music, you know, and you have a blank canvas where it's like, man, I could write about this and I could write about that and I could write. Now it's like I feel like I've done it all, to where like I still love music, but you know, like, as always. But it was like a new little, you know what I'm saying, piece to the puzzle. Like, oh, this is a new flame thing, you know. I ended up getting my daughter into it. She was on Fargo. She got her lines before me.
Oh,
So
see, look at there. And all of these blessings came before. Now, what did Mama and Daddy have to say? Did they see you on Chicago PD?
oh yeah, I was, man. It was proud. I almost cried. My one of my daughter's mother sent me a picture of her like touching the TV. She was like 5 at the time, and I was on the screen, and it was. I just wanted, but yeah, everybody was so, you know, my parents have always been supportive, and my family, but you know how they're old school. Like my parents, so they like, you know, get something though that, you know, a real job or something like that. But I'm like, no, this is what I want. Like God didn't give me this gift for nothing. Like I'm going full force with it, you know. And all the greats, you hear them say, like, you have to go 100% with it, because not giving it 100%, you might never make it, you know. So yeah,
Absolutely. And that's for any parent starting off in this business. They'll say, "Oh, get a real job," or "No, you don't want to do that." What's going to be your backup plan? That's the main thing parents'
right,
concern is. But then this is the funny part: when you buy them a big house or the car, and you buy them all of that stuff, then they just like, "Oh yeah, that's my child. That's my child on TV." So yes,
right, right. You was right. But no, yeah, I get where they're coming from. I have a lot of friends too, and I'm like, that's when you really see who your true friends are, you know? The ones that be like, go for it. And then there's some friends that are like, yeah, bro, but what if, and then I'm like, yeah, no, get a real job. And I'm like, you see this check, right? I'm like, I may not,
exactly.
guess what? I'm gonna work a couple of days and I'm gonna make what you did in a couple months. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And
It's, you know,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say, it's like, man, I forgot who it was. Somebody told me this, and they were like, "Guess what? You may not make it for a couple years, but that year that you make it, you're probably gonna make more than what one of your friends is working a 9 to 5 made all them years." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool, you know. I'm not trying to be in some factory my whole life. Like, that's the old school mentality of like work till you die. And, the school's not teaching you entrepreneurship and things like that, So I want to teach my kids different.
Absolutely. So what are some of the pieces of advice that you've instilled into your children getting into this business and the industry? Because there's so many of them, they're starting so young and they're already learning the skills of what it takes to be an actor or what it takes to be a music artist or producer. So what are some of the advice that you've given them along the way?
Oh, for sure. One of the things with my kids, they've been around. My son, oh my God, amazing producer. Romy Beats, if you guys look him up on Instagram, this kid just blows me away. Like, he learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube and he was like 7. He's 14 now and he's like in the AU leagues doing basketball, but his production is amazing, like next level. Like, he Mr. Miyagi me on the production side. So that kid he's been around the studio the whole time. And I always tell my kids, to be their own, to learn how to be their own person. Number one, when they're young, it's like, don't be a follower, and they've always seen me hustle. My son, when he was younger, he was like, I remember him telling me, just off him seeing how I work, and I got my music studio and all that, and recording people and doing my own thing. He asked me one day, Dad, can I buy some candy and I sell it at school? And I was like, yeah, son, you could do that. I was like, but you gotta keep it on the low, because
Yeah,
not supposed to. So he already, you know what I'm saying? So the best thing that I tell, and then any young person anywhere, is like, focus on what you want to do. Of course, you're not gonna just get it. You might have to work a little gig, when you're younger, but start young. You know what I'm saying? Don't take. I took a break after like high school. I wish I would have went straight for like my degree. Now I have a associates in recording arts. But it's like, that's the thing I'm saying. Like, you have way more time to relax if you just get it out the way, get that under your belt. Now you're gonna work, so it's saving all your money. Forget going out, forget doing all this, and you have enough money to invest into whatever you want to do. And that's the start. And a lot of it doesn't take much, It doesn't take too much money. So that's the best thing I tell people, man. Like, be your own boss, because at the end of the day, you can have a side gig or you can have another job. If they fire you, guess what? You're not fired from yourself, so you can still make money, So that's why I love watching those Dame Dash interviews, man. He drops a lot of gems about, generational wealth and teaching, our generation.
absolutely. And we got a question for you from my fraternal Island Yankee. He wants to know, since you're self-taught, are you going to teach a class of people who want to be an independent artist?
Can you say that again?
He says, since you're self-taught, he wants to know, are you going to teach a class for people who want to become an independent artist? Because it is definitely a balance with being an independent artist, just firsthand.
Yes, for sure. I'm always open to. I've had people that you know love to learn, and I'm always open to teaching people, the craft. And because when it comes to art, it's not it's more of what's inside of you. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is what I do is more help people be confident to bring it out, or what sound do you want? You know what I mean? And then go from there. And I could teach how to construct a song and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's where you take it. You can make a song that's constructed a little different, but if you know the basics, I think from there, then you can go there. And that's another thing. Like, I'm not that type of person I let people know, like, if you don't have money to be in the studio all the time, invest in your own little software. I have a buddy, shout out to Katie in Kentucky, I believe. He has his own setup, and he used to be out here in Chicago, and now he just sends me his he'll send his vocals and I'll mix it here, which is comes out a little cheaper than so I it's enough money out here to be made. Like, I push people to, like, if they're able to get their own equipment and learn and record as much as they want, then go that route. That's the route I went, so.
Absolutely. You got to start somewhere. And it goes back to what you said in the beginning of the interview, even with doing background work. A lot of people don't want to do background work. They want next to lead or next to the main character at the top of the film. And it's just like, you have to start somewhere. Even some of the greats started off doing background work, or they started in theater, or doing something to just jumpstart their career to give them that push.
Yeah, most of the greats, actually. When I was on Empire, Jussie, I remember him bringing that up. He was always one of the ones. And after we rap, he would always, thank us for being there and letting us know that we're needed. Like we make everything real, and that he started off as a background actor. I think he started acting at like 2, but yeah, it's a hustle. You have to, do some background work, do some do some acting classes. From there, then you just kind of figure yourself out when you're ready for an agent and who would be the best agent and things like that. And then just pray, and then be led to where you got to go. I've always had people say like, how do you like, how does that work? Like every time we see you, when I was just a background, I would always grab to be like next to the main person or like walking by them, and I'd be like, how do you know what I'm saying? I was like, I just always by the grace, I always say my prayer. I'm like, let them show favor on me, and I'm it's been good, man. So hopefully more acting stuff coming this year too for me.
We got another question for you from Alan Yankee. He wants to know, what is the difference between an artist and a creative, or is it the same?
An artist and a creative artist.
And a
I believe
creative, like a content creative or something, for example.
right, like a content creator.
Yeah.
Okay. To be honest, I can't speak on too much of that. That's actually been like one of my struggles is the social media stuff. Like I'm like I gotta hire somebody because I'll put stuff out, but it's just like now that as you get older, you get so busy. But I believe it's along the same lines. You're being creative at the same token.
Yeah.
But I could speak on the artist sense is that I guess it's less technical. I feel, at least for me, it's less technical than being like a content creator. You kind of, but then again, it goes hand in hand, right? Because then you have to upload it and share it. You know what I'm saying? So, but just the initial like working of the song and how you want to do it, or you may want to add the guitar here, and then you're like, that's when you're opening up that side of the brain, where you're just letting it flow, So.
And let's dive into it, because you went on to do a number of acting roles. You've done Chicago PD, as you've mentioned. You've done ADW. You've done Root of Evil. You've done Meet Karma. So out of all of the roles that you portrayed throughout your career, which one holds a very special place to your heart?
You know what's crazy, and it's because and it was a background role. It wasn't even like a speaking role. Because my speaking roles have been little, all good friends too. Actually, some of the roles that in the independent thing is people I've met like off Empire and things like that. But I'm gonna have to say Empire, and not because Empire was so big, just because of the fact that the experience, all the great actors that I was able to meet. But not only that, I met so many people that I'm cool with to this day, that we work together, whether it be music or acting or, shout out to Monet. She had a fashion show recently. Like, the networking there was amazing. And it was like my longest, I was there since season 2 until the end. Like we had a cake and everything at the end for the Empire anniversary. So that's gotta be it. Cause I made a lot of memories. It was my first, that was the first background gig as well. It was a huge, and I remember it was like 18-hour days, like 17-hour days. We were at this place where it was the scene where she shot Lucius, what was her name again? Breezy. And then, so it was already like my first background, it was action and guns going on. So it was dope for me. And, just, the longevity of it. And it was sad to see it go, but, everything has come to an end, but I just enjoyed it for what it was.
Yes. Now, you spoke about 18 hours. So I'm thinking about you as the parent, as Anthony, the parent, versus the actor and the artist. And you said in the beginning, I'm a single father, and it's difficult for any parent in this business. How do you find the balance? Because I know it's just like no sleep days. You have to make sure that the babies are taken care of. You have to make sure that everything is going well while you're on set and you're doing your part. How do you find that balance between the father, and Anthony, the actor, and the artist?
Yeah, well, on that one, I really feel like that's where the passion comes in. Like, how much do you love what you do? Are you willing to lose sleep? You know what I'm saying? And there's times I've been so tired out of my mind, like Big Sean said once, like
Hold on.
sleep better than sex to me, and you know, but it was a good tired. It was like I did that. You know what I'm saying? I was busy. I was doing stuff. I was making moves. You know, and it's like you gotta lose sleep if you really want it. It was who said that? There was a saying there that this monk takes this guy out into the water about how much do you want success, and
Mhm.
uh he said I wanted a lot, and he's like, okay. So he grabbed his head and he put him underwater, and then he left him up after a while, and he was like, what did you want? What could you think of while you were underwater? And the guy said, I just wanted air. And he was like, well, until you want success as bad as you wanted air when you were under that water, you will not get there. So it's like, you know, that's basically it. How do you want it? If you have a support system, that's the best. Shout
Oh
out to
yeah,
my mom, Betsy, my sisters here, you know, and then I have a few friends that if I really need it, if it came down to it, is have been very, very helping when I really needed, you know, a day where I needed to work and just get some rest or something, you know. So that's basically what it boils down to, you know. You gotta lose sleep for what you love, just for anything you love, you know. And still,
absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that because in this business, going into this business, you have to have a solid support circle around you and behind you 100%. It's a lot. Like you're going to be off. And I've seen some of the best, even, balance out fatherhood, motherhood, just parenthood in general with their kids, making sure that the kids are taken care of, that they're going to school and that everything's up. It's a lot. So I know it must be draining. So I had to ask
right.
balance. Yeah.
Definitely not easy. I don't want to make it sound like it's easy. It's definitely not. It's very like it's very hard. If 10 years ago somebody would have told me I would have been a single father, I'd be like, nah. But you know, but it's definitely harder. But I try to. I just spoke to somebody not too long ago, and they're like, well, I had kids and I wanted to do that, but I'm like, so you still can. What are you talking about? Like, I'll watch your kids if you ever like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't stop your dream because you know what I'm saying. It's like you can still do it. Like, look how I do it. I took my daughter to, I got her a gig on Fargo. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, go for your dreams. Show your kids that you could go for your dreams no matter what. You know, and it all worked out. You know.
Oh my goodness, it's never too late, and that was one of my quotes yesterday from Dr. Mae Jameson that kind of talked about that on my show when I did my interview with Diesel. So I'm gonna pull that up. It was yesterday's quote, ladies and gentlemen. All right, fashion dolls. It says, "Never be limited by other people's limited imagination." So
Wow.
that means that it's never too late to go for whatever it is that sets your soul on fire. Me, I love to live life through passion and whatever sets my soul free. And that is from Dr. Mae Jemison. She was the first African American female astronaut. So,
Wow.
yes,
Amazing.
you
I love
never
that.
know.
That limited imagination because us as like creatives and artists, our brain is over here.
Oh yeah,
That's why we can't try to be so mad at somebody that's thinking is down here. Why don't you get a real job? Oh, that's never gonna work because we're right here. They're like, all right, and I'll just be like, all right, sure, you know. So it's like you show them better than you can set, can tell them, and then it's like you just shut them up, and then they're like, man, there's some people that wish they could have still been in your corner, but because they had that mentality, you gotta get away from that.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right, fashion dolls, are you guys ready to have some fun with Anthony? Are you guys ready? We're going to get into our games. Now, Valentine's Day is slowly but surely approaching around the corner. And I've been doing this with my guys all week long in celebration of What a Man Week. So I would like to know for the fellas that are in the What a Man Week, Anthony, this goes for you too. We're going to start off with the Rapid Five Valentine's Day edition. And you have to first, before we get into that, you have to describe what would be a typical ideal date for Anthony.
I would say first dinner. Movies and stuff. You really can't get to know somebody moving or a movie or bowling or things like that. So it has to be
Right.
something, some conversation. You know what I mean? Maybe after we get to know each other a little bit, we can do something else like that, or have go out for some drinks. You know what I mean? And that'll be it. You get end the night, kiss maybe.
It sounds like my guy that I had on yesterday, Diesel. He says he's the type of guy that likes to go to the movies, and then go to lunch or whatever after, and you can conversate. I know you can't really talk to the movie because people are going to be wanting to focus on the film and stuff like that. So
But
definitely, those
that's
are
a good way.
great ideas.
That's a
Go
good.
ahead.
That's a good way to look at it. You have something to conversate about, and as long as you have a something in there, with dinner. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that's a good way to go too.
So what are we're going to do the rapid five Valentine's Day edition. All right, fashion dolls. So Anthony has to tell us 5 things that he can't live without for Valentine's Day. And then the next one we're going to do is called Turn the Tables. And this is where my guests get to ask me questions for the new viewers out there, because there's been a lot of new viewers viewing the talk show. Thank you guys for just viewing and supporting, whether it's to come see what I'm wearing or to see who the guest is. I appreciate it. So this is my way of clipping the velvet rope and allowing the guests in to get to know who the hostess, myself, and Stevie is. So all right, we're going to start off with the Rapid Five Valentine's Day edition. Anthony, what are 5 things you can't do without for Valentine's Day?
Um, so I've never been really big on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So but I always make sure I have chocolates,
All right.
a little bit of drink, because whether I'm alone or with somebody, I'm gonna have a good time. I would have to say music. Gotta have some music.
Yeah.
What else? A good movie. I I'm a lone wolf. So if I'm with somebody or not, I'll put on a movie and relax. And candles. It's my biggest. I love candles. They're so therapeutic and relaxing, solo or not.
I love I said that yesterday. We was asked what was our methods for self-care, and I said candles is definitely a must. I have one burning out. It's called Deep Blue Sea, and I absolutely love it. It's from Bath and Body Works. I'm a big Bath and Body Works home
Yeah,
goods
I
type
thought it was.
girl.
It's
Yeah.
very relaxing. I have this one here. This is Indigo Nights. This one's
Oh, I have something similar to that too. So I love scents, especially because it's been cold in the morning lately. I go for scents that match the mood of the weather. That's how I do it. So if it's like a spring, summer type scent, I would go for watermelon or lemonade. It depends. So it varies. All
I
right,
love
fashion dog.
what's the teak mahogany teak wood.
That's one of my favorites too. I
Really?
love mahogany wood. Yes. And Palo Santo, like I'm all about, you said stress. Palo Santo, for those of you who do not know, is great for relieving stress. Like I know when I get worried about my interviews going wrong or just something happening, whatever, I just put on a Palo Santo. And some people get the Palo Santo sticks. I know my girl Angela, she gets the Palo Santo sticks and she, you know, goes around her house or wherever
You're
just to
gonna have to
clear.
send me some of them links. I'm a candle guy.
Yes,
I need all that.
yes. So I love those scents: mahogany teak wood and Palo Santo, and for me, deep blue sea. So,
Cool. Cool. Look at that.
all right, fashion dolls. It is time to turn those tables. All right. So this is where my guests get to ask me questions. All right. So I'm going to pass it on down to Anthony, and Anthony's going to ask me some questions. It can be regards to fashion, whatever passions, goals, dreams. This is the way for you guys to get to know me, my news viewers out there. All right. So I'm going to pass it on down to Anthony here.
Well, I'm gonna ask you the same question. How did you get into everything that you're doing, whether it be the fashion? Well, you could break it down into the different things, but whether it be the fashion or the interview, how did you get into all that?
Well, I started instantly right after high school on a whim. I did not know what I was doing. I was very, when you're young in the business, you start off very young and it's just like you're cocky, arrogant, just like, no, you can't tell me nothing. I know everything. No, you don't know everything. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I always knew I wanted to do something in the field of public speaking and communicating with people, like how we're doing now, and just sitting down and having conversations. I manifested it at a young age. So my sister principal got me into fashion, and then it just took a liking into its own. Like I wasn't dressed like the typical everyday kids that would go to school. Me, and I have to dig in the archives for some of those pictures. I would pull out the suspenders, I would wear the vest, like I would just make it my own, and I would make it feminine. So fashion for me, I learned a lot about fashion from my father. My father worked with people that are in the industry in the garment district in the 70s and stuff, and so forth and so on. And then my sister principal, she said, "Oh, honey, I have to get you Vogue." She introduced me to Vogue magazine. Like, who doesn't know Vogue? Me at the time, I haven't really been reading fashion magazines like that. I was more so into hair than anything. And so she introduced me. She sent me this big. We fell in love and we connected instantly. My principal, and she would always give me the issues to Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, which is two of the biggest fashion magazines.
Right.
So it was a big, thick issue of Vogue, and I was just fascinated by all the designers. It was like at least 800 pages, this thick. I
Uh,
said, how am I going to read all of this? And it's so big, and I have it in here somewhere in my room. I have so many Vogue magazines and fashion and beauty magazines. So that's kind of how I got introduced to fashion through my assistant principal. She taught me how to pronounce the names of the designers and everything. And she says, "No, no, darling, you don't say it like that. You say it like this." So I've been saying it wrong. She taught me how to pronounce it. She taught me about Fashion Week. She taught me everything I needed to know, the here to go to. And then after I graduated high school, I just took a liking to fashion of my own and just went in my own lane with it. And I would always, when I first started, people knew that I used to wear my nails extremely long, which I kind of still do. Like they would be so long to the point where I couldn't type on a keyboard or anything. But I did it for style purposes because I didn't want to be like everybody else. Now I just kind of toned it down, but I still have the edge that when I first started. So that's kind of how I first started in the business. Now doing the interviews, um, it came about because I have friends who are in the business, who act, who sing, and they wanted a platform where they could do interviews. And so I remember, just starting off, doing the interviews with them. They would be in their car, wherever. And I said, let's take this forward. Let's go forward with this. And then I shook it up in mid 2020 to 2021, and I started adding co-hosts because people would see the woman, Miss Stevie, the woman, Stevie herself, and they would see me, and men watch the platform, and they're just like, when it comes to certain topics you touch on, we feel like you're bashing men in a way. And I'm just like, no, 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 no. I can't give it from the male perspective because I'm a woman first and foremost. So I added on male co-hosts to kind of make that balance and that dynamic between everyone. If you're having a conversation with one of your female friends or your sisters or your mother, you get their perspective and then you get the male perspective. And that balanced out perfectly.
right.
And so forth. Right now, it's just me flying solo, so I'm the face of it. But my co-host Johnny will be back pretty soon.
Yeah. You
So
can't
that's kind of
everybody.
how I got it.
You can't
Yes,
everybody. So there's always somebody who's gonna say something.
yeah,
But yeah.
and yeah, I get it I get DMs from some men, and they're just like, "Oh, why you got to go there?" I'm like, "Have you not talked to your mother or your sister? These are ways that women feel like
Yeah.
we're emotional to certain things." And I mean, in order for both of us to be on the same page and come to an accord, we both have to be willing to have a conversation. So it goes both ways.
Yeah. I'm
Definitely.
glad you balanced that out too, that you speak about the other, on the other end too. It's always both
Yeah.
ends. So what else? Let's see. Uh, so how long have you been doing the fashion thing?
Wow. That
I sound
was
so stupid saying that. I'm sorry. I don't know. I
no,
never
ever since
knew much about
high school. Me, how long have I been doing it? And it took time for me to develop my own, because my mom used to dress me, and there's one picture I can go through some of my baby pics, and she had me and my sister dressed in almost like these plaid outfits. So I was like, I was stylish even as a baby.
Yeah.
And I go back and I look in time. We all go back in time ever since the pandemic hit. We would always go back to nostalgia. And
Mhm.
I went through my little photo album and I said, wow, I wonder where that outfit is. Being a baby, I can't wear a baby outfit
Right.
because I'm not that size anymore.
Gotta get it
But
made.
yes, even as I can look at it for reference, and I'm just like, wow, how I'm currently kind of dressing is kind of how I used to. My mom would dress me as a baby. So at a young age, I always knew, I wanted to. I was a bit of a tomboy, but now I just developed into this. I would say because my girlfriend, shout out to Felicia, she'll tease me, and some people will tease me all the time, and they'll be like, "Hey, diva." So I take it. I take it. I receive it. I receive it. Yes, I'm the fashion diva. I receive it. And it's because I change up my look so much. I'm not afraid. And being in fashion, I've learned that you have to not be afraid to push boundaries. People are going to talk, or
Right.
either you can set trends. And for me, luckily, I've set my own trends and I've done it in my own way. I don't duplicate anybody. Even in acting, it's about originality. Even in hosting, it's about originality. But when it comes to fashion, find your own individual style that works for you. Whatever works for you might not work for the next person. And I know what works for me is over the top glamour. Couture. Some people like to be, one of my guests, he was teasing with me. He said, I don't like the whole get up. Shout outs to Collins. um, he said, I don't like, the bling bling, the flashy. I said, well, baby, you don't know what you're missing. So it was funny. We had fun. We were laughing. It was a whole exchange. And I said, try it. Try color because it's something about color that enhances your mood. And
Yeah.
studies have shown that whenever you put on a piece of color into your wardrobe, that it makes you feel happy. It can be gloomy and rainy outside. I will always still try to find the sunshine in something. So
That's my favorite color, red. But
yeah,
no, you're
I
right.
used to dread red, but ever since then, my mom bought me these red jeans when I was younger. I said I hate red. I don't want to wear red, but now I'm just like red is the color of love, and I've done a red lip. I've had a red dress, so
Yeah.
I'm always evolving. I've had red hair on. How about I have to say season 15? Season 15, red hair.
Wow. Yeah, it's right. It's true what you said though. Like you got as far as fashion too, for sure. I feel like somebody will get tired if you look the same all the time. Like the switch up is for sure. Like and like how I'm usually pretty simple with it. I could get flashy on occasion, But like you said, when I was working on Empire, there was times that wardrobe would dress me something that I would never think to pick out at the store, and I'll get in it and I look in the mirror like, yo, that kind of look good on me, like you know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Like sometimes you just gotta try something that you never did, and you can like surprise stuff that I'm like, I never wore too many different colors and pants, and like that was another one. Like, well, that kind of looks good. so, so that
And
for me. That was like my little where I learned a little more about fashion through the costumes. So it was cool, man. So what
yeah.
about what are your 5 things that you cannot do without on Valentine's Day?
Well, for me, I know a good rom-com. I love a good comedy. That's number one. Number two, I love chocolates. Lots of chocolates. Number three, I would have to say, I know it seems cliche, but everybody wants red roses. For me, I'm an exotic flower type of girl. So like daffodils, orchids. I'm a different. Most women like red roses. They like white roses, yellow roses. I know my grandmother. Now I'll get my grandmother some roses and my mom some roses. But for me, I'm the exotic type of woman. I love daffodils, tulips, lilies, like those type of flowers.
Yeah,
But I mean, don't get me wrong, I love roses too. But it's so cliche, it's so classic.
yeah.
Like I'm looking for something a little bit different.
Okay.
So that's number three. Number four for me is a good candle. I love a good candle to set a mood. And I'm like, hey, love on yourself. If you ain't got a Valentine, you love on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that and number five for me, self-care. I love to pamper myself.
Oh yeah.
I love, if you guys follow my stories, you know I'm always posting a fragrance that I'm wearing. I didn't post my scent of the day. I forgot. We'll do that at the end of the show, you guys. So I'm always posting. So those are my top 5 things that I can't live
Well, I wanted to apologize too, because so we're, I guess, different time zones, and we
without. Yeah.
had set 4, but it was actually 3 over here. And then when I see your message, like, oh, I'm thinking like I got time, but
Perfect
no.
timing. It's okay. It's
But I made
okay.
it.
It came at perfect timing. Yes.
But yeah.
I,
So what else? What else? Let's see. But you act too, right?
I've done one horror film, and that horror film is called The Assistant 2, which is out right now. Here's the catch, and I tell the story all the time because everyone knows that I take pride in my hair and my looks and my fashion. That's 2 things that I definitely pride myself in is my hair because I love long hair and I love short hair. Now, for this role, because I got the role on my birthday, the director, he
Oh,
messaged me and he asked me, he said, did you want to be in a film? And I said, sure. But here's the catch. A few days later, at the time I had long hair on my birthday. It was long, platinum blonde hair. And a few days later, I looked at it and he gave me the description for the character. All right? Hold on. So for the character, I was playing a college professor. And for the college professor, I'm thinking, she's gonna have like a bob cut or something. No, it wasn't a bob cut. I had to go in and go on ahead and get that pixie cut.
oh,
So he wanted me to have short hair for the role, and I said, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And he picked out the whole look for her. And she was a little bit out of my element, but she was almost close to me in a way. She was a no nonsense type of college professor. She taught ethics class. And she basically was teaching, the students about, okay, how do you know? Basically, sort of like Viola Davis's character on How to Get Away with Him, if you guys know. So she was Annalise, a little bit like that, but she was a college professor. So she was basically teaching, her class, the students, and she was a no nonsense type of college professor. So it was fun doing that, playing that character. So that was my only role, and I would love to do more
that's what's
acting.
up. That's the thing about acting, man. You really like you got to be in or out because this you have to transform yourself into a character. I've had so many times where, and it just in background where females will be like, or some guys too, but mostly the women that be like, oh, they gave me this ugly dress, or this. I'm like, you're never gonna make it in acting then, because they're gonna have you dress
Yeah.
on. Or there was one time, the females were taking off the makeup that the makeup department did and putting their own makeup. Like, so better than them what's supposed to go on camera, like.
And
So I'm
even
like,
in the
yeah,
modeling world, I was taught that I'm not a model. I was taught that even models have to go along and change their look. Like whatever designer or whatever season or collection that they're launching, they're going to want the models to change their look. And there's one model that I love, and I'm pretty sure you guys know who she is, and that is Linda Evangelista. Um, she was known for her platinum blonde short hair, and I kind of I would have to say I kind of emulate her hairstyles of just a little bit, just a tad bit, because she was also, people call me a chameleon. My island Yankee called me a chameleon. I said, that's the real true chameleon, or if not her, Rihanna, because Rihanna, almost every album, everything that she's done, she's changed her look and she's been consistent with it. And with me,
I,
every season, every interview that I've done. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I can't wait for the Super Bowl. Should be good. Rihanna.
Yeah. Next week, it's coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Girl to
But
bag.
every album that she's done, she's been consistent with it. So changing your look, change is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with change. So if the director says, I want you to cut your hair, I want you to gain weight. What's his name? Christian Bale had to gain weight for a movie role. So actors are expected to do that.
Yeah. I love I don't remember. I don't believe I saw the movie, but I heard it wasn't like great. I don't know. But the 50 Cent and what was that movie? He was very dedicated. He got very
Yeah.
skinny. Like I don't even know if I could do that. I love food too much, but
Unrecognizable. See?
it's some of these, you know. Or Shia LaBeouf for one of the movies, he pulled out his own tooth. Like I don't know if I'll go to that extreme, but
I couldn't
yeah,
do it. I
no,
couldn't. But hey, the director says you got to do it. If he wants you to change your look for this role, he wants you to have blonde hair, you have blonde hair. You have red hair, you have short hair. If he wants you, I know Demi Moore did G.I. Jane, all of her hair. She
yeah,
cut her hair off. So I mean, you got to do what the director tells you. And in the fashion world, it's the same way. You got to go with the direction of what the designer wants.
right, exactly. So dedication.
Exactly. Absolutely. All right. Fashion dolls, that is our turn the table segment. If we don't have any more questions with Anthony, before we let him go, because I know I can't keep him, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you guys the Black History Fast Fact for today, Black History First, and the final thought of the day. But before I do that, Anthony, what is some advice that you want people to take along with them in this year of 2023? We officially made it, and so far, so good for a lot of us because we've envisioned, and it goes back to what you said mid part of this interview, which is about having passion and going after what sets your soul on fire. So, what are some nuggets and gems of advice that you would like to give to people going into this year of 2023?
Okay. Other than you know, just follow your dream and don't stop. Other than that, it's something that I just some years back, you know, my late 20s, it's like wow, it really works. Is your words and positivity, and you know, something that sometimes I still struggle with, but I'm more on this side than the, you know, there's days when like you know, but for the most part, it's just speaking positivity. It's really it's like magic. Like you will see things
Yeah.
change if you're waking up every day saying, it's Monday. I don't want to. I'm tired. I'm this. I'm that. Then you're gonna have a bad day. If you wake up like this is gonna be a great day, let's go do this and do that. You like you'll see it. It's try it, you know, and you'll see like just keeping positive, speaking positive words, speaking your truth. Don't say I want to get this or I want that or I need this. Speak it. I can't wait till I get my car. I can't wait till I buy this house. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I have today is because I spoke it. Everything I have. I'm gonna have my studio watch. I'm gonna get my house. I'm gonna get my car. I'm gonna get, you know. So it's just like keep speaking it, and then you know the universe is gonna bring you everything. You know, so always speak that positivity. Go for your dreams. Never stop. And it's just like Nipsey Hussle said, it's a marathon. There's not no end goal. You know, you're always changing. You're always doing something different. You know, you're following your dreams and you're living life and enjoy the people too. Enjoy your family, your loved ones, your close friends, because without them, nothing is worth it. So enjoy your time with them as you go through life's journey. You know, what I believe is the meaning of life is just your journey, enjoying your journey on your way up. You know.
Absolutely. 100%. All right. Fashion dolls. And like Anthony said, put it out there in the universe and manifest it before we get to our Black History Month first for today, because it is Black History Month. And this week is all about the fellas. It's What a Man Week. So we have some amazing black men throughout this week. All right, Fashion Dolls joining me tomorrow. We have William E. Smith. And today's Black History First is Leontine Price, the first Black international diva, paved the way for classical artists like Kathleen Battle, Jesse Norman, and other African American opera stars. Now, some critics said she was the greatest soprano of her era. So that's today's Black History First, Leontine Price. Now, today's final thought of the day comes from Susan L. Taylor, who is the editor of Essence Magazine. Well, she's a journalist for Essence Magazine. And she has a quote that says, whatever we believe about ourselves and our ability comes true for us. And that comes from Susan L. Taylor, Fashion Dolls. That is our final thought of the day. I love you all. Be fabulous, and whatever sets your soul on fire, follow your passions, follow your desires. I love you all, Fashion Dolls, and I will see you tomorrow at 4. And Anthony, thank you for taking time out to come to the dollhouse
Thank you so
and
much.
talk to your girl. It
Thank
is,
you so much for having me. It's been a little bit since I did something like this.
and I love love to have you back in the future.
Oh,
So
for sure,
definitely.
anytime. And I pray good things for you in the future. Good year for all of us. God bless you guys. Have a good one. Have a
You
good
too.
Valentine.
Take care, Fashion Dolls, and I will see you guys tomorrow only on Style by Stevie. Take care, everyone.